It was just chaos. Bro, I missed my plane again. It's a gut feeling, like, I know. I am so sorry.
Fuck it.
Hi guys, what's up? I don't have makeup on today, so there is a filter on this because I look trashed. However, I was watching some Storytimes and it made me think about a story time that I have. So I wrote it down while I was at work one night and I was like, I want to share this, but I never actually thought to share it. I don't know why it didn't cross my mind. I don't know what's up. But I wanted to tell you guys about my first airport experience. And am I in my car? Yes. Do I film a lot in my car? Yes. My car is kind of like my safe place. Plus, my mom's home from work, so she has the living room TV on, which the house isn't very big. Sound travels very easily, and it's just easier to film in my car most of the time. With that being said, hi, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I do vlogs, hauls, gonna try and start doing Storytime Sundays, stuff like that. Just stuff in that genre. If you're interested, you can hit the subscribe button. Make sure you like my videos so I know more of what you guys like, so I can upload more of it. A lot of my shorts are also mini story times. I just have a lot of crazy stuff happen to me. I don't know how my luck is, how it is, or how this type of stuff happens to me just consistently, but it does. So, with that being said, today's story time is going to be my first airport experience. Now, I know what you're thinking. How can it be that bad? There's no way it could have been that bad. Well, hi, my name's Sharisa, and my life is just bat crap. It's insane. Nothing ever goes as planned or right or how you would even think it could possibly go. It's just off the rails, and I'm just I'm like a train just running and crashing, going 300 miles per hour. It's just what it is. But yeah, with that being said, let's get into this video. So first, some preface before I start this, so you guys kind of know what's going on throughout it. About 2 years ago, I was dating this guy, and for the sake of this video, we'll call him Dalton. Just because I don't want to put his name out there. That's his information. That's not for me to put online. So I'm dating Dalton. Dalton goes military. He's about to graduate from boot camp, and I am supposed to be getting on an airplane at 8 a.m. Okay? I'm supposed to be getting on an airplane at 8 a.m. I worked the night prior. This is back when I was bartending. I worked until 4 a.m. So I'm supposed to be getting on this airplane at 8 a.m. I had never traveled on a plane in my life. I had never been on a plane. So I didn't know how airports work. So I'm okay, I'll get there 30 minutes in advance. I'll be fine. My goal is to get there an hour in advance. But if I only get there 30 minutes in advance, I should be okay. I didn't realize mornings were the busiest. Nor did I realize how big this airport is. I had no idea where my gate was. I had no idea where my check-in was. I didn't know anything. That's so this is the baseline of this story, okay? Also, should mention, I was supposed to be meeting his mom and his sister at the airport we were landing in. So, with that being said, I get off work. It's 4 a.m. We had just finished closing out the drawers, signing everything out, and I head out the door. Now, I had to come back to my house because I didn't want to take my car to the airport because I didn't know how parking worked. Once again, I've never been to an airport. So, my best friend at the time was oh, I can take you, whatever. I'm okay, cool. Are you cool if we stop at Walmart first, though? Because, my Apple Watch, I had an Apple Watch at the time. My Apple Watch band just snapped tonight while I was at work. So I really need to get a new one because I don't want to not have my watch on me while I'm 4,000 miles from home. Like, just in case I were to lose my phone or something were to happen, you know, whatever case may be. I wanted my watch on me. So, she's like, yeah, that's cool, that's fine, whatever. She comes and picks me up at 5 a.m. I literally came here, grabbed my suitcase, took all my makeup off, showered, like, the whole shebang. And she gets here. We load my stuff, get into her truck. That's what the hell she had at the time. It was a truck. So we get into her truck, and we're just, like, driving, talking, you know. She's like, oh my God, are you excited to see Dalton? Like, y'all haven't seen each other in 8 weeks. Like, that's crazy. How do you feel about his head being shaved? Like, how do you feel that you finally get to talk to him in person and you finally get to hug him? Like, I know you miss him so much. And we're just, like, talking about, like, my nerves and stuff. And I'm like, you know, I'm extremely excited. I'm, like, so hype. I'm the Cheshire cat, ear to damn ear. Like, so excited at this point. And she's like, oh, okay, bet, like, that's dope, like, I'm so happy for you, like, I'm so happy you're finally happy, whatever. Now, this relationship didn't end up working out in the end, but that's the story for another time. So, we get to Walmart, we go in, I get the little band I need, along with a new Apple Watch charger, a charger block, because I had forgot mine at home, and something else. I grabbed something else. I swear to you, I thought we were in the store for maybe 30 minutes. We get back to her truck. It is 6:40. The airport is an hour and a half away. So I'm stressing out. So I'm like, oh my God, I'm not going to make it there in time. Like, what am I going to do? Like, da-da-da. And she goes, just go on your app, because I have the Southwest app downloaded. She's like, just go on your app and just, like, switch your times, like, switch your plane. And I'm like, can I do that? And she's like, girl, yeah, like, I've been late before, like, switch your plane to the next one. So I'm like, okay, dope, I will switch my plane, whatever. So I get on the app, I switch my plane, I switch it to the 9:30 plane, and I text Dalton's mom, and I'm like, hey, by the way, like, you know, I'm running behind, like, I got off work, and I had to run to Walmart real quick, and da-da-da, so I'm running, like, an hour behind. I'll be on the 9:30 plane. And she's like, oh, okay, cool, like, we'll just chill there at the airport for an extra, like, 30 minutes, you know, wait for you, it's not that long, like, we'll probably spend at least 20 of it getting our baggage claim, like, you know, like, grabbing your baggage, whatever. I'm like, okay, bet. Because, like, mind you, I was not renting a car. I was not old enough to rent a car in the state we were going to. You need to be 25 to rent a car. I was 21. So, couldn't really rent a car. Or I was 20 at the time. That's what it was. I was 20. So, she's like, you know, we'll wait for you, da-da-da. I'm like, okay, bet. So I kind of, like, take a deep breath, and I'm, like, relaxed. I'm like, okay, I'm going to get there with, like, an hour to spare. It's not showing, because we used Waze, not Apple Maps. It's not showing any traffic. Like, we should be fine. And I think my jinx was my damn self. Because I said, we should be fine. We were probably 30 minutes into the trip at this point, singing music, just, like, you know, vibing. And we hit the biggest stop. It was a standstill. Nobody was moving. It was not showing on the Waze app. It wasn't, like, there was no indication it would have been there. And we sat there for 30 minutes. At this point, I'm freaking out, because it's already 8 o'clock. My plane leaves at 9:30. So I'm, like, freaking out. I'm like, oh my God, like, I'm gonna miss my flight again. Like, how does this keep happening? Like, I'm freaking out. And she's like, girl, calm down. Like, I'm looking on the news app. Like, it says this thing's only, like, 10 minutes. Like, we're good. Like, okay. Like, whew. So we're sitting there. 10 minutes goes by. Still haven't moved. 20 minutes goes by. Still haven't moved. At this point, I'm starting to freak out. It's now 8:20. I'm still like watching the clock. We're not moving. So I kind of text his mom, give her a little update. I'm like, I should still make my plane, but right now I'm really not sure. We're like 30 minutes away from the airport. And we finally start moving. But we're moving going 15 miles an hour. Because I guess people just like to see bad crap. I personally don't, but everyone's like stopping right by the accident and like looking and shit, and it was just chaos. So, we finally start picking up the pace again. I look down at my phone. It's 8:50. I'm officially freaking out because I'm like, I'm literally going to have like 10 minutes to check everything and go through security and get on the plane. And so I'm just like a nervous freaking wreck. And she's like trying to calm me down. I'm like, no, like I know I'm gonna miss my plane. Like I just know. It's a gut feeling, like I know. But the next plane wasn't for like 3.5 hours, I want to say. It was like at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And I was like, crap, like I'm gonna miss my plane. Like I'm freaking out. And I'm telling his mom, like, I think I'm gonna have to take the 1 o'clock flight. Like, I'll just Uber there. Like, I'll just Uber to the hotel, whatever. Like, I really didn't want to be inconvenient to them, especially because this was only like my third time being around his mother. And I just didn't want to be the inconvenience. And she's like, no, like, we'll wait. And I'm like, no, like, seriously, I'll just Uber there. Like, it's fine. I'll Uber there. Like, I don't care what it costs. Like, this is so inconvenient to you. Like, you guys go enjoy the nice weather. Because, like, where we were going, it was, like, 90 degrees that day. I'm like, you guys go enjoy the nice weather. Like, I'll Uber there. Like, it's completely fine. This is entirely my fault. Like, whatever. And she's like, you need to calm down first. Like, you don't know if you're going to miss the plane. You don't know, like, what's going on at this point. So I'm like, okay, you know what? Like, y'all are all right. I'm being over dramatic. Like, so we finally pull up to the airport. I check my phone. It's 9:15, I want to say it was. So, like, my plane leaves in 15 minutes. Like, I start boarding in 15 minutes. And I get there, and I can't find Southwest in this airport. I literally can't. I found it on the international. So, like, I walk up. I'm like, look, I'm looking for regular Southwest. Like, where is it? I don't even think they knew where it was because they were like, oh, you go downstairs and to the right. So I go downstairs and to the right, and I'm like walking. I walked around this building, like in a whole circle, did not find it. So I finally stop and I look at a security guard. I'm like, hey, look, my plane boards in like 10 minutes. I don't know where this is. I need help. Like, please. Like, I'm going to see my boyfriend graduate from boot camp. Like, I cannot be late for this. I'm already, like, I feel so inconvenient already. Like, I feel like I'm making a mess of everything. Like, can you please just show me where this is? And so he walks me to the kiosk, and he's like, you check in here. And I kind of look at him. Like, what do you mean you check in here? He's like, you check in here. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm sorry. I've never been to an airport before. Like, I don't know what you mean. And he, like, takes me up to the service portion, and they, like, kind of print out everything and da-da-da. And she looks at me, she goes, your plane's boarding. And it's, like, 8:20. I'm like, what do you mean my plane's boarding? She's like, your plane's boarding. I'm like, I thought my plane didn't board till 9:30. She's like, no, your takeoff is 9:30. Your plane's boarding. Like, you're not going to make this plane, sweetie. Like, I'm sorry. I'm like, okay, well, can I just get on the next one out then? And she's like, yeah. So we go through this, and they had to waitlist me for the next plane out. We weren't even sure if I was going to get on the next plane out because it was fully booked. And I was just, like, freaking out at this point. I'm like, I don't care what I have to pay. Like, just get me a seat on this plane. Please. So she does a little runaround. I end up having to pay an extra, like, I want to say it was like $150 about, just to make sure I had a seat on this plane. We get all that done. She's like, but you can't check in until the 2-hour mark. So I'm like, okay, so, like, what should I do? Like, my friend already left. Like, she's already gone. I have a whole suitcase with me. I'm like, I don't know, like, where should I wait? She's like, just wait out here. So I find a place and I plug in my phone and I call my best friend and I'm like, bro, I missed my plane again. Like, it's not going well. Like, all signs are saying, like, just don't go. Like, I'm freaking out. Like, I really want to see him. And I'm just, like, having a whole, like, anxiety attack. I'm crying my eyes out. I just, like, want to have a mental breakdown. And she's like, well, weren't you planning on straightening your hair when you got there? And I'm like, yeah. She's like, well, why don't you go ahead and, like, do your hair while you're waiting to check in? I'm like, you know what? That's smart. Like, yeah, I'll do that. So now I gotta go find an outlet. Finally find an outlet. I grab my blanket out of my suitcase because I always, like, was told, take a blanket with you. The plane gets cold. So grab my blanket out of my suitcase and I'm literally sitting on the airport floor in the entrance with a blanket, my suitcase just, like, laying flat down beside me, and my hairbrush and straightener. So I'm straightening my hair, and at this point I had gotten extensions. So I'm straightening my hair and my extensions, and I finally look down. It's like, I can go check in. So I go check in, whatever. And now I am sitting in this terminal for 2 more hours until I can board the plane. And, like, I've updated his mom, and I'm like, you know, y'all just go to the hotel. And she ends up finding out that her mom, aka Dalton's grandmother, is landing the same time I am. So they make it for us to meet, like, at this car thing, like, where you pick up the rentals. And so I'm like, okay, bet, like, that's great, like, that works out great. And then Dalton calls me and, like, hey, did you land yet? Like, da-da-da. Like, you probably have by now. And I kind of explained the whole situation to him, and he's like, oh my gosh. He's like, how do you have this bad luck? Like, how does this stuff happen? I'm like, I truly don't know. Like, it's honestly crazy. Like, you would think, like, me seeing you would be the easiest part of my week, and somehow it's just becoming, like, this whole debacle. And I tell him basically, like, I'm going to meet up with your grandmother. She's going to take me to the hotel to meet up with, like, your mom and your sister and all, and da-da-da. And he goes, I would rather you Uber. I'm like, why? And he goes, my mom is the sweetest person ever. My grandmother is the most judgmental person ever. And she is just, I already know she's not going to like you, solely because she doesn't even like my mother. She thinks tattoos are trashy. She thinks piercings are trashy. She thinks platinum blonde hair is, like, what girls do when they're trying to, like, basically be a HOE. And I'm like, I'm having an internal panic attack again, because it's like, what do you mean? What do you mean? And it's like, I have no other option, because I already told his mom I'd meet with her. His mom is down at the pool, so his mom doesn't have her phone, and I had no forewarning of this from his mother at all. And so now I'm, like, freaked out. And I'm like, well, I have no other choice. Like, I told your mom and sister to go to the hotel. They're at the pool now. Like, they don't have their phones. Like, I'm just gonna have to go with it. So he's like, okay, well, please, like, call me when you land. Because at this point, he can have his phone. He's about to graduate boot camp. He's like, call me when you land. Like, let me know you made it there safe. Like, I just want to make sure, like, you're okay. I'm like, okay, bet. So we hang up the phone, and I'm left sitting in this terminal for another hour and, like, 45 minutes. So I'm, like, twiddling my thumbs. I didn't bring anything to do. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do my makeup so that way it's done when I get there so we can just go out and do stuff. Because the entire plan was for me, his mom, and his grandmother and sister, like, basically for all of them to get to know me better and me to get to know them. And he was like, we're going to be spending 4 days together. Might as well get to know each other a little bit. So I'm like, okay, bet. So I do all my makeup, and I still had, like, 30 minutes left over before my plane was even boarding. So I'm sitting there, and I'm, like, twiddling my thumbs, and I'm like, God, I don't know what to do. Like, I'm so bored. Like, so So I end up taking a nap. I think it's a great idea at this point to take a nap. Mind you, my phone's on like 15%. And I still have to get on this plane, and I still have not slept. I kind of sit in the chair, I kind of wrap myself in my blanket, and I like take a nap. And I wake up to hear last call for boarding for plane da-da-da, and I'm like, oh my god. So like I freak out, I like hurry up and grab all my stuff and like run up to the gate, and I show them my ticket, and they scan me in, and I run the plane, and I'm looking, and there's nowhere to sit. Like there's one seat in the very back, and I don't know what it is about the back of planes, but like they stress me out. So I was like, crap, like there's nowhere to put my carry-on, there's nowhere to do anything. So I get to this back seat, and it's beside this lady, and she looks at me and looks back and goes, and just like kind of rolls her eyes, and I'm like, I'm just gonna take a nap. I'm just gonna take a nap on this plane. Like, I'm freaking out. So, whatever. I take a nap on this plane. The plane ride was like 4 hours. I take a nap on the plane, and we land. And there is a delay with us getting up to the gate to exit. So, once again, I'm like, crap. So, I take my phone off airplane mode, turn my service back on, and I text his mom. I'm like, hey, there's a delay on our plane going to like the gate. I don't know what's going on. Like, I'm freaking out. And she's like, okay, like, I'll let so-and-so, like, Dalton's grandmother know. And I'm like, okay, thank you. We sat there waiting to exit this plane for another 30 minutes. I'm not even kidding. We literally sat on the plane for 30 minutes waiting to exit. I'm like, okay. Like, at this point, I'm just irritated. I'm just, like, so done. Like, I've been crying all day. Like, I'm aggravated. So, I'm like, okay. We finally get off the plane, and then, like, we go down, whatever. I'm like, okay, you know, like, dope. Like, I'm gonna just go to baggage claim. I'm gonna just get my stuff. I get to baggage claim. My bag is not on the baggage claim at all. It is nowhere to be found. So I walk over to like the, you know, little service desk. I'm just like standing there waiting. And I get up there and I'm like, hey, my bag's not here. And they go, okay, like, you know, like, what's your name? Da-da-da. And I'm like, my name's Teresa Klein, like, I'm going here, and I'm from here, like, this is the airport I flew out of, like, ABCD, pretty much. They're like, okay. So they're typing in, they're like, I don't see your bag. And I'm like, great. Like, this has all of my stuff in it. I literally can't do anything without, like, this bag. It has my Apple Watch in it. It has all my chargers, my hair stuff. Like, why did I put my Apple Watch in there? Not sure, but it was my first time flying. I didn't know. So it was like, cool. I'm like, that's nice. She goes, just go check, like, the other baggage areas. So I walked through, like, all 6 of these. And at the very end, on the very last one, I don't know how my bag got mixed up with this stuff, but my bag was on the very last one. That flew out of a completely different airport. Whatever. That's where my bag was. So I grabbed my bag, and instantly I'm like, crap. And I'm like looking around. I'm like, I don't know where I'm at. I don't know how to get out of here. So I just start walking around this airport. And I'm walking. Mind you, I don't know what his grandmother looks like. I don't know what she's wearing. I don't know how tall she is. Like, I know nothing. I'm just looking for his grandmother at the car rental place that I can't even find. I walked this airport 3 times and I still don't know where it is. So eventually, like, I get irritated. I go back over to the baggage claim lady and I'm like, hey, where's car rental pickup? And she's like, oh, it's up here to the left. I'm like, okay, bet. So walk up these stairs, go to the left, and I see these other stairs leading into the parking garage. I'm like, okay, that has to be what she's talking about. Like, that has to be where it is. So I start walking up the stairs, and there's this lady yelling behind me, hey, hey, hey. And I turn around and I'm like, yeah? And she goes, are you sure, Issa? And I'm like, yeah, are you Dalton's grandmother? And she goes, yeah, I've been following you around the airport, like, trying to get your attention. She's like, I guess you were just so panicked that, like, you didn't hear me? And I'm like, I am so sorry. Like, I did not hear you. I didn't even know you were behind me. Like, I'm sorry. And she goes, you're fine, sweetie. Like, let's just go up here and pick up this car. So we go up, we pick up the car, we get in the car, and everything that happened in that car ride and on that trip, like, that's a story for another time that I'm almost definitely sure I will tell on here because it was just insane. But that was my first experience at an airport. I was late, I was lost, I was confused, I almost slept through boarding. It was a mess. But I made it there. Don't know how, but I sure as heck did. So if you guys enjoyed this story, please give it a big thumbs up. Leave a comment down below. If you want to see more videos like this, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.